My dear friends, today I want to share with you a simple yet powerful idea: the glass is half full. It's a phrase you may have heard many times, but today I invite you to explore its deeper meaning. It's a way of seeing life, not as a set of problems to be solved, but as an opportunity to embrace with gratitude and awareness. Now, some may ask, what does it mean to see life as half full? You see, the glass, whether full or empty, represents the way we perceive our circumstances. Life, like the glass, is not always perfect. There are moments of struggle, loss, and challenge. But how we choose to view those moments shapes the quality of our lives. Let me share a story with you. When I first came to the monastery, I was filled with uncertainty. My life before had been busy, full of distractions, and filled with desires. But when I arrived at this peaceful place, everything seemed quiet and still. It was beautiful, yet something within me felt empty, like a glass that had once been full and now was only half full. For the first few months, I felt lost. I focused on what was missing, the bustling life I had left behind, the dreams I thought I had lost. I saw my glass as half empty. But one evening, while walking along a path lined with trees, I met an elder monk. I shared my feelings of emptiness with him. He smiled and said, "The glass is never truly empty, my friend. It is always half full of something." His words stayed with me. In the days that followed, I began to look at my life differently. I started to see that the space in my life, what I had once thought of as emptiness, was actually a space for growth, learning, and peace. The glass wasn't just half full of the things I had lost, but it was half full of new possibilities, new wisdom, and new moments of joy. And that shift in perception changed everything. You see, friends, the glass is always half full, just as your life is always full of potential. The key is to shift our focus. When we focus only on what is missing, we fail to see the richness of what is already present. Whether it's the small acts of kindness we experience each day, the lessons learned from hardship, or the peace we find in quiet moments, our lives are filled with blessings, if we choose to see them. This idea is not merely about optimism, it's about mindfulness. When we approach life with awareness, we stop taking things for granted. We learn to appreciate the simple things: the warmth of the sun, the laughter of a friend, the sound of birds in the morning. These small moments, like drops of water filling a glass, accumulate and bring meaning to our lives. I once spoke to a man who had faced great loss. His wife had passed away, and he was left with a deep sense of grief. He felt that his life was no longer worth living. One day, I asked him, "What is it that you still hold dear?" He paused, thinking deeply, and slowly replied, "I still have my children, my health, and the memories of our time together." In that moment, I realized something profound. Life, no matter how difficult, is always full of something. It is never completely empty. Even in our deepest sorrow, there are moments of grace, of beauty, and of love. And those moments are enough to remind us that the glass is, indeed, half full. Now, this is not to say that we ignore the challenges we face or pretend that life is without hardship. The glass is half full, but it is also sometimes half empty. Both truths can coexist. The trick is to find balance. To acknowledge the empty space without allowing it to consume us. To honor the struggle, but also recognize the beauty that still exists. When we learn to see the fullness in our lives, even when things are difficult, we shift from a mindset of scarcity to one of abundance. We stop seeing life as a series of things to be fixed and instead start seeing it as a journey to be embraced. Let me offer you a simple practice. The next time you feel overwhelmed, pause for a moment. Take a deep breath, and ask yourself, what is my glass full of right now? Is it filled with the love of those around you? The lessons you've learned from your past experiences? The opportunities you have today? This simple question can shift your perspective, bringing clarity and gratitude. When we acknowledge the fullness of our lives, we stop looking for things outside of ourselves to fill us up. Instead, we start to recognize that we are already whole. So, my friends, I invite you to reflect on your own glass. Is it half full or half empty? Perhaps it's both. But remember this: the fullness of your life is not determined by what's missing, but by how you choose to perceive what's already there. With a shift in perspective, you can transform your life from one of scarcity and longing to one of abundance and peace. The glass is always half full, if you choose to see it that way. Until we meet again, may you find joy in the simple moments and embrace the fullness of your life.